These are not some overbearing, really ugly chandeliers that we see in Ghanaian design. Yes, well done. That's good from the developer. Okay, welcome back, friends and family. We've got a new real estate review brought to you by my wonderful wife, Malika and GH. Check out her channel, go subscribe. Let's get straight into it.
Now, this is Special Gardens. Special Gardens is in Adenta, and
Straight away, we have consistency in design, guys. TV unit is not crazy. Subtle lighting behind it. Kitchen is modern. The rest of the house is still modern. Spotlights in the ceiling. The light fixtures, right? These are not some overbearing, really ugly chandeliers that we see in Ghanaian design. Yes, well done. That's good from the developer. Again, I'm not sponsored. I just want to celebrate good real estate design when I see it, because there is a lot of poor design that sits in the system asking for the same money. But these are the things you've got to get right as a developer to make people want to buy.
what I love about this spot is that the houses here feel very established. There's a sense of community, and you can tell that families actually live here.
Again, there's consistency. You know, even when there is some detail here with like the kind of floral pattern on the side of the wall, it's very understated. It's cool, modest, you know. I quite like it. I think this is cool. And this is something, when you go into it, you really do feel an element of space. Even though the external facade is quite uniform, that would probably be my only downside to this development. The internal feeling, look, feel, even behind this bookcase you can see here, just on the left of your screen under the stairs, you can take that bookcase out and there's like a little under stairs storage. So it's the thought that's gone into it that I appreciate. You know, sometimes, you know, the culture in Ghana is that a lot of people develop and build themselves. And they build in a vacuum, abstract of future-proofing the design of the home. It's just like, I'm building it, I'm going to get it done. This is something where it seems like they've taken a little bit more time to think about who they want in their development. Very well gated development, very well secured, great amenities. There's a football pitch. They're doing apartments on the left-hand side. Fair play, like they've thought it through and there's a plan.
And we actually did see a little kid riding his bike, so just me saying that I was sold. But the homes here usually fall around, I'd say, 150 USD to just under 300 USD, depending on the size and level.
You see, even this isn't necessarily my style, but at least it's consistent. This feature wall, geometric style, cool. But it's not like crazy. It's not like black marble tile with gold accents, you know, and then, you know, a green sofa. It's consistent. Yeah, so in terms of pricing, their 2-bed terrace home comes in at 178,000 USD. It was very big for a 2-bed. It's deceptively small on the outside, to be honest, but when you come in, there's a real kind of element of space, width-wise and depth. And when you go up to the bedrooms are actually big. They're big, 2 big bedrooms. So I was impressed with that. 178,000. I think that's still on the pricey end, but you got a home for that money. You could even get a 1-bed condo that's selling for 109,000. Again, I feel like that is on the pricey end, because you could be set more central to town. This is Adenta. So good thing about Adenta is it's not as far as maybe in Oyarifor and Ebri, etc., that you do get through all of this traffic before you get into town. You'll still hit some traffic, but not as much. But still, 109 for a 1-bed in Adenta, you could probably slap another 10k on and be in the head centre of town in airport and collect all that kind of corporate NGO demand. Their 1-bed loft is sold out, 2-bed condo sold out. They had a 3-bed end of unit townhome that was going for around 235, if I remember correctly, and then they've got a 4-bed duplex which is at 289. I think these are quite pricey, and where I was a little bit more skeptical was when I asked about the rental income. So I queried what the 2-bed townhouse would get, and they said $1,600. For me, that's unrealistic. And I'll tell you why. For example, I've managed real estate in cantonments on short rental basis when the landlord was looking for long-term rents, and those long-term rents were about $1,500 because the market generally has corrected. $1,500 for a 2-bed in cantonments. And that's an apartment. Bear in mind, this is a 3-bed house, but you're in town, right? You're right in the center of town. Whereas this is a commuter town. It will take some time for you to get into town, especially in rush hour. It takes some time to get you out of town, especially in rush hour. That kind of rate of return didn't really make so much sense to me. But let's check the data to make sure that assumption is correct. But from what I know of the market, that seemed overinflated in terms of what rental income you could get. So yeah, it's pricey, I think, but I think you have to pay a premium for the consideration of the community that they're building. And if you think about it, anywhere in the world, new build properties come at a premium. You have to pay that premium. But at least with this, somebody might be asking for the same amount of money and it's an isolated home or it's a single home. Maybe it's not in a well-planned area, etc. This is different. This is completely different. They've really thought through what's happening on this development. Let's continue.
To just under 300 USD, depending on the size and level of finishing. And what makes this development really attractive is that, Adenta is a really good area for schools and supermarkets and hospitals. And so, these are the things that parents think about. And what I love...
Adenta is very fast developing, right? It's a very fast developing residential area. The fact that this developer, so Special Gardens, the owner is the owner of Special Drinks. So these are people who have done well in the Ghanaian system. You know who the builder of the development is. That is all important due diligence. And when I do research for clients, I'm looking at who is the owner of the development? What is their business? How reachable are they? What's their legal representation? All those things, just to kind of get a full perspective on what's happening. And I really like this master bedroom. Really smart cladding, really smart blinds. Cool, classic, nice, little African accent there with the picture. Even the picture's nice. But it gives you, even though this is like a show home, it gives you an idea of what the art of the possible is. So if your thing is still being built and you want to change this or do that, that's the kind of experience you need to create as a developer to entice people. Because if you have standalone units, maybe a couple or 3, and it's just on one plot of land, once you're done, and you're not thinking about the overall experience of the individual, someone will pay for that experience. Someone will pay for that kind of access or ease, those kind of things. So you've got to think about those things as a developer. I see it all the time in my comments and other people's comments. People are looking for more than just, this is my house on my plot of land and that's it. People are now looking for community and things like that, especially if you're coming from the diaspora, you're coming from outside, you're looking for community. So this is, I give them credit for this. I still think it's pricey. We'll check that in a minute, but I give them credit for this.
Special Gardens is that I felt like they just did their market research. In terms of open plan, this is a very good layout for open plan homes. And honestly,
this was my one criticism of this development. They utilise space really well, and as you can see, people already moved in. But for me, the uniformity of it was a little bit too much. The terraceness of it was a little bit too much. But when you went in, I found that I found value in when you entered the building. I was surprised when I entered the building. The outdoor cladding is okay, it's cool, but I think they have thought through their design and what they wanted to do. But I like it when you have a little bit more room to move around your plot, etc. But it's still a good development.
The Special Gardens is really special. I can tell.
Look at the greenery, right? This is a developer has appreciated, you know what, we need to concrete for cars and those kind of things, but we also need to have some element of nature for people to enjoy. It's subtle. but it's important. It's well thought through. And you can see how the kind of spaciousness has been achieved as it's kind of bigger and thicker on the top. So there's kind of extended out. So there's a little bit of, these are the semi-detached ones. These ones gave you a little bit more room. So the semi-detached, those were pricey. I think those were about the 235 to 260 mark. I have the price here because it says it's sold out. But, you know, that's what I would prefer if it were my home rather than the terrace ones. But actually, if you're on a budget, 178 for the 2-bed townhouse, which is terrace, it was big inside, so it's not bad at all. Okay, so looking in the data lab at Kuro, so what I've done is I've kept Adenta Municipal as the general area. Reason being is because Adenta can incorporate a lot of areas. People sometimes refer it as the town, or they refer to it as the district or the municipal. Lots of supply, 456 listings that we found on Kuro. Average price is 300k, median price is 257, and I've gone for bedrooms 2 to 4 bedrooms. But let's just focus on the 2 bedrooms, because their 2-bedroom was selling for 178,900. So let's have a look what the results give us now. Oh, so there's one 2-bedroom that's really pulling out the maximum price, but the median price here is $103,000, right? So way under what was listed there, but you can see, you know, at 178 you're in the top 4, right? Top 5 in terms of pricing out of 23. If we look at the price overview, let's see if there's any consistency in price distribution for 2 bedrooms in Adenta. Right, so large percentage of it is around the 103, 104 mark. Some at 94, 111, 68, 80. So, and that's going to be depending on what you're getting, right? We have to take into account you are paying a premium for an experience that they're providing you, right? These guys have contacted me pretty much whenever they have an event, when they're opening the new pool, they've invited us down for barbecues, those kind of things. So they're really trying to create the environment. So when you have that, that's what you can charge a premium for. Is it too much of a premium? I would argue probably. However, they are very clear in what they're trying to do, and they're really trying to develop a community over there at Special Garden. So let's see from a 3-bed perspective. So Special Gardens were around, they had 2 versions of 3-bed. They had a 3-bed end unit terrace townhome and then a duplex semi-detached townhome. Now the duplex semi-detached townhome I think was 265, and the 3-bed end unit was 235. So the average price is 210. The median price is 154. So, you know, a little bit more expensive than the average price, a lot more expensive than the median for the 3 beds. And let's look at the price overview for the 3 beds, see what most comes up. 154, 134, 185. So the 3 beds are pricey. 235 is a lot. The 2 beds seem to be a little bit more competitive, but they're still pricey. But again, anywhere in the world, to be honest, where we bought our house in the UK, it was a new build house. We paid a premium compared to what was around in the market that were older houses. So we have to be honest and take that into account. We have to be fair. But I do still feel like this is on the pricier end. And when I look at commuter towns, I feel like there might be other options that are better in terms of price. But value is something that you calculate with your own interest and personal tastes and desires. Because if you're having a clubhouse, you have a football pitch, you know, you have community, maybe you're prepared to pay that premium. I don't know. That's down to you as an individual. Now they're 4 beds. They came in at 289, and let's check that out now. So 4 beds. They came in at 289 for the 4-bed duplex townhome, and then for the 4-bed detached townhome comes in at 319. Apparently that's the last 3 units they've got. So for 4 beds, 309 is the median price. Average price is 334. So actually, pretty much sits right in between the average and the median for 4 beds. and even their 289 looks quite favourable in the market. These are asking prices. There's a lot of supply. And Adenta is taking a lot of different areas as well, because I wanted to keep it wide, so there are other commuter towns in the area, or commuter towns that you can pick from that may be equidistant to town, you know. Let's do something different. I'm going to change the geography. And I'm just going to use the keyword Adenta. Let's see what happens. 4 bedrooms in Adenta with the keyword. 285. 285 as the average, 287 as the median. So yeah, when we're doing specific Adenta, which encapsulates some Pantine, yeah. So this is more accurate to the exact location. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, that looks quite pricey. But when you think of Adenta as a municipal, not just the town or really local town, and things that come into Adenta, areas that come into Adenta, it looks a bit fairer. But when you lock in on Adenta itself, so maybe there's properties just outside the development, that would be, you know, 285 for a 4-bed. But to be honest, their 4-bed was 289, so it's actually not that far off. So it's pretty fair, to be honest. It's pretty fair for what is comparatively around in the same area. What do you guys think? Is 178 for a 2-bed, 289 for a 4-bed, 235 to 265 for a 3-bed? How do you see that as in terms of pricing? Put it down in the comments below. Yeah, let's discuss. If you need any research requirements, I'm on the ground. We're using data. We're taking videos, photos, opportunities. You want a site checked out, those kind of things. Everything's in the link below. All right, until next time.